Hello, I'm Karen Morgan, and this is the Purple Bike Podcast. Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about the year 2014. In 2014, my family was doing a whole lot of skiing, with the kids doing ski races on the weekends and during the week with school. So we of course tuned in to the Winter Olympics that were held in Sochi, Russia, where Ted Ligety won the gold medal for men's GS and Michaela Schifrin won in the women's slalom. In 2014, a lot of people were doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. This was where a lot of people challenged each other to make a video of having ice water dumped on their heads, but it was for a very good cause to raise money and awareness for ALS. In 2014, the Nobel Peace Prize went to Malala Yousafzai, who was the youngest laureate to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize. She was honored for her work for children's educational rights. And in 2014, the online dating app Bumble came out. Bumble was founded by Whitney Wolfe Herd. She was a co-founder of Tinder, and she left Tinder and started Bumble. With Bumble and heterosexual matches, only the female users can make the first contact with male users. Thanks, Whitney. There were some great songs in 2014. The number one song was Happy by Pharrell Williams.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because you know I'm all about.
We also had songs from Meghan Trainor.
I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, bass.
Pitbull and Kesha.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. Let's make a night. You won't remember. I'll be the one. You won't forget. It's gonna be all
Taylor Swift.
Cause the player's gonna play. And the haters gonna hate, baby. I'm just gonna shake. Shake it out. Heartbreaker's gonna break.
And John Hyatt came out with his album Terms of My Surrender, which includes the song Old People.
Old people are pushy. They don't have much time. They'll shove you at the coffee shop, cut ahead in the buffet line. They'll buy two for $1.50. Then they'll argue with the checkout girl. They've lived so much behind them, they're trying to slow down this goddamn world. Oh, people are pushy. They're not mushy. Oh, people are pushy. 'Cause life ain't cushy.
All right, let's talk about the TV shows of 2014, starting with my favorite reality shows. The first one is called Botched. Botched is about these two plastic surgeons who fix other people's botched plastic surgeries. I love this show. Each episode has 3 different cases. The first one is like a person worthy of help, someone that got injured and has a disfigurement and it's not their fault. The second person is somebody that got plastic surgery in some stupid way, like butt implants made out of sand because they were cheap and they got them in a foreign country. And then a third person who asks for something ridiculous, like make me look like a blow-up doll. So these guys usually help the first 2 people, and then they politely decline the third crazy one. 2014 also brought us Married at First Sight, a reality show about people who meet for the first time at the altar when they get married. And then they get married, and then they are together for a few weeks, and then they decide if they want to stay married or not. It usually doesn't go well, but it's good TV. And then there was Southern Charm, which was a reality show about people that live in Charleston, and we started watching it recently because my son is moving there. Let's just say it's reality TV. Okay, on to the scripted shows. The first one is The McCarthys. The McCarthys debuted in 2014. It is a sitcom about a close-knit working family from Boston. The parents were played by Laurie Metcalf and Jack McGee, and Sean McCarthy was played by my good friend Jimmy Dunn. Next up, we have Silicon Valley, which was a comedy that was created by Mike Judge, who you may recall also created King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, the movie Office Space, just a very talented guy. Silicon Valley, the show, parodies and makes fun of Silicon Valley, the place. And it follows these guys who have a startup tech company. It ran for 6 seasons, and it got 5 consecutive Primetime Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Comedy Series. My favorite season was season 1, and my favorite character of the whole series was a guy named Peter Gregory, played by Christopher Evan Welch. Sadly, he passed away while they were still filming the first season. But if you only watch one episode, watch the one where Peter Gregory sends them out to get everything on the Burger King menu. And my favorite TV show that debuted in 2014 was Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. This is a late night talk and news satire show hosted by comedian John Oliver. It is now in its 8th season. The show has also won 20 Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 Peabody Awards, and 5 Writers Guild of America Awards. This show is smart, it is well written, it is well hosted, and I was lucky enough to be able to go to a taping there on my daughter's 18th birthday. And let's just say that John Oliver gave her a lot of really good advice. He was a super great guy. Okay, let's talk about the movies of 2014. The number 1 movie at the box office was Transformers: Age of Extinction, which I did not even see. But I did see the big Oscar winner from that year, which was Birdman. It won Best Film, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay. Birdman starred Michael Keaton and a whole bunch of other important people. It was very entertaining, but I have to say it was a little bit weird. The rest of the Oscars that year were kind of all over the place. Eddie Redmayne won Best Actor for his portrayal of Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. Best Actress went to Julianne Moore for her role in Still Alice. Best Supporting Actress went to Patricia Arquette for her role in Boyhood. And Best Supporting Actor went to J.K. Simmons, who played a very terrifying drum teacher in Whiplash. My daughter and I saw him at a restaurant in New York, and I wanted to say hello so bad, but we did not because we didn't want to be those people. And Best Adapted Screenplay went to The Imitation Game, which was about British intelligence agents that are trying to crack the Nazi codes, including the Enigma code. It was a pretty interesting movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch. And the Oscar for Best Animated Film went to Big Hero 6. All right, let's talk about the other movies of 2014, starting with the continuing long list of series and sequel movies. We had Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which was the sequel to Captain America: The First Avenger. This was the 9th film in the Marvel Universe. We had Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which was the sequel to The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was a reboot of the original Planet of the Apes, which scared the crap out of me when I was a little kid. We had Horrible Bosses 2 with Jason Bateman and Charlie Day. This is obviously the second Horrible Bosses movie. We had The Hobbit: The Battle of Five Armies, which was the third of Peter Jackson's 3-part film series based on the novel The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. We also had The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1. Okay, go with me here. This was the first of 2 films based on Suzanne Collins' novel called Mockingjay, which was the 3rd book in the Hunger Games trilogy, and this is the 3rd installment of the Hunger Games film series, which was followed by Mockingjay Part 2, which makes that the 4th film. So if you're confused by any of these movies or series or titles, just shoot me an email, Karen@KarenMorgan.com. I will help you figure it out, or we will just all be confused together. Okay, more sequels. We had the X-Men, Days of Future Past, which was the 7th X-Men film series. We had Dumb and Dumber 2, which was written by my friends Peter and Bobby Fairley. This was the 3rd Dumb and Dumber film. We had The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was the 5th Spider-Man movie and the final film in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. All you need to know is that this series starred Andrew Garfield and also had Emma Stone. We had Penguins of Madagascar, which was part of the Madagascar film series. And I really loved Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, which was the last Night at the Museum series with Ben Stiller and Robin Williams and Owen Wilson and a whole bunch of other very funny people. This movie was sadly the last time that we got to see Robin Williams on screen. Let's move next to some films who are the firsts of series. We had Guardians of the Galaxy, which was the first Guardians movie, which would be followed by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in 2017, and Volume 3, which is coming soon, I understand. This is the 10th film in the Marvel Universe, and it's one of my favorite Marvel movies. Next, in 2014, we had Divergent, starring Shailene Woodley. This was based on the book by Veronica Roth. It is the first installment in the Divergent series films. There's going to be 2 more films after this one, Insurgent in 2015 and Allegiant in 2016. I guess there was supposed to be a 4th one called Ascendant. That one was going to get moved to television, and Shailene Woodley said she wasn't going to do it because she only wanted to be in a film. And then COVID happened, and it's probably not going to ever get done. We had the movie Neighbors with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. This was followed later by the sequel, Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising. Neighbors is about a couple with a baby that move in next to a fraternity house. Sounds like a great idea. Next, we have 21 Jump Street. This had Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. This was adapted from the 1987 to 1991 TV series, 21 Jump Street. There were some movies after this one. We had 22 Jump Street, and then maybe someday we're going to have 23 Jump Street. In 2014, we also had The Maze Runner, which was the first of 3 films that were based on James Dashner's 2009 book. Okay, finally, we're down to some single original movies. Yay! We had The Monuments Men, which was based on the nonfiction book by Robert Edsel. The film starred George Clooney, Matt Damon, Bill Murray, and John Goodman, whose job it is to find and save pieces of important artwork during World War II. I thought this was a great movie and also pretty educational. In 2014, we had the movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, and Jessica Chastain. This was a movie about astronauts who travel through a wormhole near Saturn trying to find a new home for people to go live. We had the movie Into the Woods, which starred Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, James Corden, and Anna Kendrick. It was a musical directed by Rob Marshall and based on the 1986 Broadway musical. Other movies included the sad movie The Fault in Our Stars, which was based on the sad book by John Green and starred Shailene Woodley. I really liked This Is Where I Leave You, that had Jason Bateman, Tina Fey, and Adam Driver, a very funny and touching movie. Obvious Child with Jenny Slate was really good, but I'm not sure that many people really know about it. And I also really liked The 100-Foot Journey with Helen Mirren, about a family from India who open a restaurant across from a Michelin star restaurant in France. It was really good too. It also makes you very hungry while you're watching it. Okay, let's move on to some comedies from 2014. We had Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart. We had The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz and Leslie Mann. We had Blended with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Tammy with the wonderful Melissa McCarthy. This was written by her husband, Ben Falcone, and also starred Susan Sarandon. And A Million Ways to Die in the West, created by Seth MacFarlane of The Family Guy. Okay, now we come to my favorite movie from 2014, which is also a comedy. This movie premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, and it earned $6.9 million after just spending $1.6 million to make it. What We Do in the Shadows is a mockumentary horror comedy film, if you can put all those together. It was written and directed and starred Jermaine Clement, that we've talked about from Flight of the Conchords, and the very talented Taika Waititi. Feature-length film was based on a 2005 short film that they had created called Interviews with Some Vampires. So the premise of What We Do in the Shadows is that there's a documentary crew following 4 vampires who are roommates. There's Viago, Vladislav, Deacon, and Peter. Viago is 379 years old. Vladislav is 862 years old. Deacon is the youngster. He's 183. And then there's Peter, who is 8,000 years old. Taika Waititi's friend from high school, who is also an IT tech guy, his name was Stu. He was in the movie, and they told him he just had a bit part, but they actually created him as a main character, but they didn't tell him about it because they didn't want him to be uncomfortable in his acting. After the movie, they developed a TV series for FX that is now on its 3rd season. One of my favorite scenes in this movie, and there's a lot of them, is when the vampires are in the kitchen arguing over who's going to do which household chore.
Is Peter coming? Shall we be great?
Peter's 8,000 years old. We're not going to have Peter at the meeting. Okay, so I wanted to have a quick chat about flat responsibilities because, guys, I think that we're not all pulling our weight here. We're not just pointing the finger at you, Deacon. You're a cool guy, but you're not pulling your weight in the flat.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that I'm cool. No, that's not the point, though.
Yeah, no, I know. Not a flat meeting about how cool you are.
I do my flat chores. No, you don't.
Yes, I do. That's why we're having the flat meeting.
The point is, Deacon, that you have not done the dishes for 5 years.
Vladislav is right. It's unacceptable to have so many bloody dishes all over this bench like that.
I'm so embarrassed when people come over here.
What does it matter? You bring them over, you kill them. Vampires don't do dishes. You put out the recycling, which was really cool.
And the other day, I dragged the man's body down the hallway and noticed that there was no dust. Like I kind of swept the hallway.
Join me next time when we talk about the year 2015. When we first see a little Broadway musical called Hamilton in Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and I got my last purple bike. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Y'all have a great day. Hey, this is Karen. I hope you're enjoying the Purple Bike podcast. For more information about the Purple Bike, go to thepurplebike.com, and also make sure to check out my website, which is karenmorgan.com, where you can subscribe to my monthly newsletter that has announcements about upcoming comedy shows, some really cool giveaways, and other fun stuff. So go to karenmorgan.com and sign up today.